what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be oiling up the Penn 2 4000 series. It's a little banged up. I don't know if you can see that, but it's the Penn Force, and it is the somewhere around here. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is. It says 4000 on it. See if I can get in there. Yeah, so 4000 series. It's kind of banged up, like I said. So first thing we got to do is loosen up the drag to where it allows the spool to come on. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can take that all the way off. Then the spool comes all the way off. Then our next step is to take the handle off. Actually, and all you do to get the Penn 2 the handle off is to actually just turn it backwards, and it comes right off. And so what I was saying was, I have never taken this reel all the way apart, all the way down to where I'm going to, but I don't know if you can hear that. It's got kind of a little grind in it. I don't like that exactly. Also, what you're gonna need is paper towels. Make sure you have paper towels with you, because we're gonna be cleaning it out. So first things first, we got our screwdriver, our Phillips. We're just gonna take these screws out, and there should be 3 in total. If you can see that, 3 in total. We're gonna just get these out. And what I mean by I've never taken it all the way apart is I've never taken it apart to where I'm going to be taking this part out. All I've done is just greased it, put grease in it, put oil in it, and that is it. And you can, I don't use any special grease or oil. The only oils that I use, or that I have right now, this is what we call this one right here, the real butter. And then I also picked up some real grease, which is the H2O Express real grease. Both of them are pretty, they're not really exactly expensive, so that's always good. We also have this screw at the bottom. And also, while you're doing this, make sure you pay attention to what screws go where, so you're not confused and you can get your reel back together if you do, because this one is actually shorter than these other screws, and that the little cap is right there. So what we're gonna do here, it was actually falling off already, we turn it down sideways and that comes off. Like I said, I've greased it up, but still got that little grind in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a full thorough cleaning. So now that I got everything off, as you can see, it's pretty gunky off in there. Hands are already dirty. So there's your paper towel number 1. You need it for your hands right now, and you can use it for the reel. Now, the reason why I needed a paper towel is because you can see that screw off in there. You gotta get that out. Get your screwdriver. And all we're gonna do is just twist that out, just like so. And this one's even smaller, right? So put that there. And now, once you get that out, that whole bottom, or that whole cylinder piece should come out. Once you got your cylinder piece out, like I said, that's really dirty as well, you can tell. But if you can't really tell, watch this, just like that. So I've never broken down this reel to where I can take everything off. So today's that day. Hopefully, what you want to do is you want to get all that grease, and let's go ahead and get this little screw out here. Get that screw out. Get that little screw out. And then what you're gonna have to do eventually, that allows this to come off, which is the holder for that. And then you're gonna have to get a socket. 7 16 is what fits on it. What you're gonna do is get that on there. Make sure it's on the taking off position. And then take that off. And the whole thing should come off after that. Alright? Now you're down to the base. You can take that out as well if you need to. But we are going to take that out because everything is going to get cleaned today. Alright? Everything's getting cleaned today. So, that's it. Everything's getting clean. Everything's gunked up, gooed up. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of separate these. So, what you're going to do is you're going to put your screws that you use. Take everything out and kind of keep them together, because this is when, if you don't have the right screws and everything to put everything back together, everything's not going to fit back together properly. Alright, so put those screws over here. So screw out. Plate is going to come off, and this piece should just kind of pull out. Like I said, I have not taken that out since I got the reel, so all gunked up, glued up, and all these are your bearings right here. Take that out, and this is probably what's, I can feel the sand in. Alright, so we're about to put the reel back together. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put some grease down here, and you're not going to get your reel perfectly clean unless you really dive deep into really getting it clean, which is okay if you do, but this it. When you get your bearings set up, one thing that you can do, so bearings, so this is also a little tip, bearings can have oil on them, so they glide smoothly, so there's not much friction. Bearings can have oil on them. You want your mechanics to have grease, right? So we're gonna oil that up a little bit. Make sure it's got plenty of oil on it. Now, there's such thing as oiling it too much. You don't want to oil it too much, but you're gonna put your oil on there. We're gonna drop that in there, sit in there nice and secure. Then we're gonna get our cover, put that on top. You just basically want to do everything that you originally did in reverse, alright? So, get that on there. And another tip that is good is, if while you're putting your screws in, don't tighten one all the way down. Tighten one all the way down, that gives it the possibility of it lifting on one side and it's not fully down. And it seems like it's down all the way, but it's not. So what you want to do is get them all in, tighten that down just a little bit, just until it stops on its own. Same thing, stops on its own. Turn that all the way until it stops on its own, and then you snug it down. There's a hunk of oil off in here, so you want to put that back. Put that back and make sure that when that spins, there's oil off in there. I mean grease, sorry. There's grease off in there that continuously kind of always stays in there and keeps that. And that's what I was saying. Bearings get oil, your gears get grease. Alright? We can leave that there, and then what we're going to do now is we're going to put this on top. Before we put that on top, we're going to put a little grease on it, just a little bit. Put a little grease here, and it looks like there's already like a little piece there. Put some grease in there. Set it on top. And get it off in there. Make sure that's spinning nice and smooth off in there. And you can always test your items as you're going. Now we have that on there. We're gonna get our screw. Screw that on top. And again, this is a 7/16. Make sure it's flipped the right way. And you can do this with a what is it? A pair of pliers. And what you don't want to do is, so a lot of people like to do it with a pair of pliers because you can't really tighten it too much with a pair of pliers, but you want to just snug that down to where it's still spinning smoothly all by itself. Alright, make sure it's not rocking at all, and then you're going to put this little piece on top, and there's some holes where this is going to sit over it. So this is also something that you have to watch out for. So there's actually 2 holes in there. You can see them. What you want to do is set that over the hole. Once you set that over the hole, you want to get your screw. Get that screw off in there. Set it on top. Just screw that down. What this does is make sure that this nut does not move. Technical difficulties. To find out, you have to drop this. You have to drop this part in there before you drop this back down. Which is something that I did not know. Alright. So make sure that when you are dropping this back in there, which is already hard enough as is, you have to drop this in there. Then hold that and drop that all the way in there. for a little pointer that I did not know I was struggling with. So make sure you put this in there before you put the up and down pin screw and attach it. So you don't have much room to work. You should kind of rotate at that point, alright? Now, got all that in there. Make sure you grease this. Make sure you got plenty of grease here. And then on this one here. Alright. Reason being is that's going to keep everything going. Drop some oil off in there. Make sure all your bearings get oil. Spin it. And once you got all that done, it's really the easy part. And you're going to put the cover on. If you get the cover on, of course. Put your screws back in. 3 screws on the side. Again, you just want to screw them all the way down so you can't anymore, as far as like just screwing it down, because what you want is the even tightness all the way around. Never want an uneven tightness. So. Last thing you gotta do as far as screwing things and tightening everything down is this last screw on this little cover, this bottom cover. Tighten that down nice and tight. Make sure it's not loose. To me, it sounds a lot better. Feels like it's a lot smoother. And now, can wind this bad boy on here. What you want to do is hold that spool, tighten that all the way down, get your cover for the other side. And this is a handle changing spin cast reel. She's back to where she used to be. Ready to get after these fit. And it'll smooth out the more I reel it, because that grease will start really getting on those gears. And then sometimes you might have to open it back up because that grease isn't exactly in the right spot. But you're just gonna basically working a new reel in, breaking a new reel in, just reeling it, and the more you reel it, the more that grease gets everywhere. You want to get you a clean one, just really get any excess grease off. Last thing, of course, put that on there, tighten down that drag. Ready to put back on the rod. I appreciate you watching. Please comment, subscribe, and if you haven't, please turn your notification bell on. And as always, please keep fishing real.